calm explosion. Israel has a gross domestic product of $260 billion. And 21% of its children live below the poverty line. It absorbed 800,000 Jews from Arab lands. It accepted any Jew in need or crisis. But the state still couldn't come to grips with the role that religion should play in society. You see, Israel is only 68 years old. Israel's very much an unfinished product. Where was the United States when it was 68? In 1863 or 64, we hadn't gone through a civil war yet. Women hadn't earned the right to vote. There was no civil rights movement yet. Israel's only 68. And it hasn't yet defined its borders. It hasn't defined the role of religion in society. It hasn't defined completely what role the non-Jewish community should play in day-to-day life. It's got a crazy election system. Some people would even call it absurd. But it is the homeland of the Jewish people. It's where Jews decided to determine their own future. It's where they decided to control their own destiny. It's where they decided that other people weren't going to choose it for them or do it for them. And that's why those of us who support the state of Israel do it with such vigor and such vim, because it makes us living in the diaspora stronger people, because there is a Jewish state. We all know that. That's why we fight tooth and nail for Israel's prerogative to make its own decisions. This region, the most stable element in the region today is perhaps the state of Israel. Saudi Arabia, grant you okay. Four most powerful countries in the region: Saudi Arabia, Iran, Turkey, and Israel. Three of them are non-Arab states: Israel, Iran, and Turkey. This region will continue to affect and infect, and I mean that not necessarily positively, the rest of the world, because of the issue of demography which has not been resolved. Germany's taken in 1.1 million refugees. Read the editorial in today's Wall Street Journal written by the German ambassador to the United States, in which he says, we'll do this, but these people will have to come and behave according to our law, not according to their rules. We will impose it on them or they won't stay, is what he said. He also said quite explicitly in one sentence in his wonderful column, he said, no one is going to change Germany's special relationship with the state of Israel. I was surprised but delighted to have read it in the editorial. The region is changing the face of Europe. And I have to say to you all, it's changing the face of America. I can't speak for Mexico. I probably shouldn't be speaking for the United States either. Seems that we can't even find candidates for president who can speak for the United States. But that's entirely different reality TV. And boy, if that's not reality TV, I don't know what is. Actually, it's probably virtual reality TV. The Middle East is at our doorstep in the United States. And I don't think Americans understand it. I don't think we yet figured out what happened on 9/11. What is our response? We're going to elect someone who's going to be interested in healthcare and maybe the economy. But aside from one candidate, maybe two, there are very few who understand what countries border Iran. We have to muddle on through. We have no choice. We have a state of Israel in the Middle East. It's not going away. The people there aren't going to let it go away. But something's got to be done about the inequalities within the state. But only Israelis can decide to do that. I can't. I'm not an Israeli citizen, and I can't be complaining about it. Will this region, with its borders, remain? My sense is the borders will remain, but the borders will remain merely suggestions. They're not going to be observed. And people will go across them at will. My own view at almost age 70, after following the Arab-Israeli conflict for 40 years, is a very pessimistic one. I'm not convinced that Palestinians are prepared to recognize a Jewish state west of the Jordan River, whatever the borders are. I just don't think they're ready for it. And no amount of coercion from the United States or from an outside party is going to change that. We have to get away from using the term peace process and just use the word negotiations. Because maybe it's just a dream of pie in the sky reality. I'm not enamored by the candidates for president. You know, I'm going to take care of my grandkids. I'm not worried about politics. We have to take a look at ourselves as Jews in the diaspora, and let me finish with this. As the most powerful generation of Jews who ever lived in terms of its economic strength, we have more power and more influence than any Jewish demography across the world ever. Then the question becomes, what are we going to do with this influence and with this power? Are we going to be apathetic in teaching our next generation about what is Israel and why it's relevant and why it's important? Are you going to assume that if we send them on a 10-day birthright trip to Israel, Dayenu, that's sufficient? I hope not. I hope we will reinvigorate ourselves and re-energize ourselves in understanding the value of the state of Israel to the Jewish people of the world. And I hope we make a concerted effort. And I hope we don't rely on an institution to do it, whether it's a day school, or a congregational school, or a summer camp, or a birthright trip. I hope we do this on a regular basis, all year long. All year long. Being Jewish is not just about Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Being Jewish is not just about Kaddish and about Kiddush. Being Jewish is preserving our concepts of prayer and peoplehood and practice that we instill and we invigorate it into future generations. The state of Israel came into being because a group of Jews decided to take destiny into their own hands. And they didn't just do it because of what other people did to us. We can't continue to just tell the story of Israel's existence because of anti-Semitism. Yes, the Shoah did matter, but it wasn't the only reason why the state of Israel came into being. It came into being because people actually said enough from the 1840s onwards. And they did something about it. And we have to tell that story. And we have to tell it with pride and with ownership. And it's not just the Seder. The Seder isn't just how we got out of Egypt. The Seder is how did we get from Egypt to 49. We have to know Israel, we have to own Israel, like we know the 4 questions. If we do that, the next generation will get it. And we can be proud as being the most powerful Jewish generation ever in terms of economic strength. But we actually communicated something really, really important to the next generation. Tell the story, own the story, be prideful of the story, and do it over and over and over again. Thank you very much.